What's up, everyone? I hope you are enjoying the NBA playoffs. And I tweeted a little bit ago, send me your NBA playoff hot takes and I will react to them in a video. Sorry to my guy Koo. I'm not sure this one's going to happen, but I respect the confidence. I'm recording this right after the Clippers just killed the Mavs, right before my Pacers play. So I'm going to react to some of these. So let's see what you all got. PIC_Nick says Nuggets lose in the semis. Wolves beat them in 7. And I really just can't see that happening. The Wolves look amazing. And even with Anthony Edwards playing like this, I believe too much in Jokic. I believe too much in playoff Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and what the Nuggets have. And the Nuggets are probably going to handle the Lakers in 4 or 5 games. And I think the Wolves are going to handle the Suns in 5 or 6 games. I think these two teams are really, really well matched. And I think the Wolves are probably the only team with a real chance to beat the Nuggets in the West. So it wouldn't shock me. Like, I could see it if Ant has one of those series and all of the other role players play to their moments and Gobert is cooking. But overall, I would say I disagree with this. Fantasy F Pete says Anthony Edwards is a top 3 playoff performer given his playoff resume. And I definitely don't think that's true based on his resume. Maybe the way he's playing right now, I would say Jokic is for sure better. Luka's for sure better. On the Eastern side of things, Donovan Mitchell probably better overall. Maybe even Brunson better overall, but those two are probably going to be close. And Brunson obviously struggled against the Sixers in game 1. But as I said, I made a video on Anthony Edwards' explosion recently. If he's playing like this, then the Wolves are scary. And he seems to be a guy who's built for this moment, who elevates in the big moment. So yeah, I mean, I respect it. I think Ant is a legit superstar in the playoffs right now, and we'll see how that goes as the series. And the series is hopefully for the Wolves. JX7_ says Sixers win every remaining game, and I've seen a couple of these in my mentions, and I think this is honestly ludicrous. I'm not sure how you can watch game 1 where Embiid got hurt and did not look like himself, especially in the 4th quarter, where the Knicks won in spite of Jalen Brunson shooting like crap. And to the Sixers' credit, they defended him really well. They had a great game plan set up against him, but I don't know how you watch that game and think, oh, the Knicks are going to win it or the Sixers win in 5. I still think the series is a toss-up, especially if Embiid's health is, permitting him to play well. But if not, and it didn't look like he was super right in that last game, I honestly think the Knicks are going to win this series in 5 or 6 games. Jay Segan says Lillard is still who he was last time in the playoffs, and the Bucks will make the ECF. And I've got to disagree with this one. 2021 was a long time ago, and Lillard hasn't looked the same athletically to me. I think that's been a difference this year. His burst is a little lower. He can't get to and finish at the rim like he used to, and I think that's going to hamper him and the Bucks. I personally think the Pacers are going to beat the Bucks in the first round. I definitely don't think they make the Eastern Conference Finals. I have zero faith in a Doc Rivers-led team to overcome any sort of adversity, especially with their best player out for at least game 1 of their first-round series. I think the Bucks are going to flounder really quickly. Maybe not, but I am not buying the Bucks at all right now. Jordan Dyer says the Thunder will struggle mightily with the Pels size, even though Zion is out. 7-game series. And as somebody whose day job is covering the Pelicans, I think the Pelicans will get swept without Zion. Maybe they get 1, maybe 2 because of OKC's inexperience, but it's not true that the Pelicans are a big team. They're actually a very short team. Outside of Jonas Valanciunas, who is, a big 7-footer, they're a really small team. They don't have any other backup bigs with size. Nance is shorter, Zeller, Jeremiah Robinson, Earl. And of course, without Zion, they're pretty much just like tall, lanky wings, which the Thunder are built really well to contain. Definitely have more content on this series out in the near future, but without Zion and with Ingram not being fully healthy, I see basically no path for the Pelicans to win this series. And I think it could honestly get ugly if the Thunder play like they can and play like I think they can. So yeah, I'm definitely not with this hot take, unfortunately. I've seen a good amount of these takes too, but this one, Jiffy F1 says the Celtics will fold in the conference finals to the Knicks. I've seen a lot of Knicks belief, and I don't know, man. I'll believe the Celtics choking when I see it, which is maybe a dumb thing to say because they seem to disappoint every year in some manner or fashion. But this Celtics team with Porzingis, I think, totally changes the game. He can help them get out of some of their offensive slumps with his amazing post-up scoring and spacing. Derek White has shown he's a playoff game changer. And I think in a scaled down role, Drew Holiday is going to be much more effective. He doesn't have to create a bunch of offense. He can focus on defense, secondary stuff, shooting the ball. And overall, I trust the Celtics' talent too much to pick them over the Knicks. So I'm not even certain we'll make the conference finals. I think they're definitely a good bet, but I don't think the Knicks have nearly enough offensive juice to handle. They're going to need crazy hot shooting from Boyan and Deuce McBride and Devo, which, hey, maybe they get. They got that in game one against the Sixers, but I think that's their only way of really beating the Celtics, especially because the Celtics can match their physicality. They can go two bigs with Al Horford against Mitch Robert Hart and, try to match their rebounding and their toughness and their physicality. On paper, I think the Celtics are just too good to pick against, but, maybe they lose. I got a couple of these about Tobias being the worst playoff starter in basketball, and I'd have to think about that a little harder. I don't think he's the worst playoff starter in basketball, considering whoever the Suns' fourth or fifth guy is probably worse than Tobias. Just off the top of my head, the Bucks might be starting someone worse than Tobias. The Heat, I think, are probably starting someone worse than Tobias, but it's really rough when your $36 million man is basically useless out there. He was a good rebounder against the Knicks in game one, but that was about it. He looks so just timid scoring the ball. He's not consistently confident shooting off the catch or making good decisions. He slows the offense. His defense is just whatever. And it seems like the Sixers would just kind of be better off playing someone like Batum over him or Oubre or whoever, really. Even, give Ricky Council a shot. I don't know. But yeah, that contract and trade just not looking particularly good for the Sixers. It was a questionable move at the time, and this has really hurt them because without Joel obviously at full strength, Maxi's overtaxed as a total primary, and I don't think Tobias is the kind of player to really remedy that. Capologist18 says Orlando will win the series in 6, and I do not see that happening. I picked Cleveland to win before the season. Before the series. I thought they were a much better team. And in game 1, the Magic's offense is troubling. Jalen Suggs was not able to be that guard creator they needed. He was getting good looks, but he wasn't really capitalizing. Paolo had a nice scoring game, but he really struggled as a decision maker. He turned the ball over a ton, and overall, he just kind of looked lost when it came to picking his spots and making the optimal play. Obviously, he's a 21-year-old primary initiator, so these struggles shouldn't be a surprise or anything super concerning for the long term. But I don't think Orlando has the offensive juice, especially with Donovan Mitchell had a 30-point game. Evan Mobley's offense looked great. Garland was playmaking. The others were performing at a high level. And I think that the Magic might get a win or two, just scrapping it out. Their defense is still phenomenal. And if they have a hot shooting game or two, maybe they could pull it off. But because of the Magic's lack of spacing and the Cavs' overall talent, the fact that they've looked to have much increased their level of physicality and toughness from last year's playoff disaster against the Sixers, I'm going to say the Cavs win this series in 5 or 6. At the moment, it looks pretty comfortable for them, even though I think the Magic do have a shot. This is the last question I'm going to do for this video, but James Harden, Indigo says, James Harden will beat the playoff allegations this year. And man, I've been saying that, or we've been saying that for years now, and I'm just not sure that it's going to happen the way that we think. Harden had an incredible game 1. He was getting downhill at will. And I think this Mavs series could be a good one for him to get going. Their point of attack defense doesn't seem to be really effective. Obviously, he can target Luka and Kyrie on switches, and he looked explosive and bursty, getting downhill, making plays out of his drives, and the Clippers are a crazy threat if Harden is playing like this. So, you know what? I'm going to say yes. I'll agree with it. Harden's going to beat the playoff allegations this year. Why not? I still think the Clippers find a way to choke and crumble, but I don't think it's going to be Harden's fault. Really encouraging game 1, though I do think the Mavericks are going to bounce back, and I'll still take them to win the series overall, but you got to feel good about the Clippers after that game 1 performance. But yeah, this is all for now. Thanks everyone for dropping questions. I hope you enjoy the rest of the playoffs or whenever you're watching this. But yeah, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and have a nice day.